part of the presentation, Resurrection of the Warrior Queen, this is something that I spoke about on that right there. The black woman is born with superior natural qualities. She is naturally equipped to succeed and advance in life, to progress, push forward, and surmount obstacles. Thus, the black woman can withstand, persevere against, and overcome any socio-political economic condition. For by virtue of her existence, she possesses an inherent warriorship principle and an innate queenship principle. The black woman at birth is a warrior queen in need of cultivation. So this was a part of resurrecting the warrior queen. So I wanted to put this here to lead up to what I want to talk about tonight, because the presentation tonight, Black Womanhood in History, is kind of a continuation for the most part. So this is Black Womanhood in History, a message to the black woman. Historically, black women have always been on the forefront and on the front line as trailblazers and trendsetters, pioneers and innovators. As freedom fighters, black women has always challenged injustice and defended the best interests of black people. The black woman has always took an uncompromising stance against the system of white supremacy and demonstrated her love for black people. This is your legacy, and this is what you have inherited as black women. And if this is not understood, if the black woman doesn't get this, if our black girls don't understand this, the black community will remain in chaos. I'm going to tell you why she remain in chaos. If you think about Kemetic spirituality, you think about Aset. And if you look at Aset, she always wore the throne on her head. So our ancestors always associated that throne with that woman. And the way the man came through the throne was by way of the woman. The woman has always been instrumental and indispensable for the stability of the black communities and the black families. But she needs to know this. See, in 2014 and beyond, you have to understand your historical legacy and what you have inherited as a black woman. If you don't know that, you're living in an environment in ignorance. And if you're moving in ignorance, you're bound to collide. You're bound to conflict. You're bound to walk into walls. You're bound to stumble and make mistakes that you can't always recover from when you don't have this knowledge. See, all other female, white, Chinese, Filipino, whatever you want to call them, they understand who they are and what they must do. See, even a white woman in the early 1800s, when they started advocating the quote-unquote feminists, the suffrage movers and things like that, they were advocating for themselves. They never advocated for the black woman in slavery during the same time when they was running their mouth. They was advocating for them because they had a beef with the white man. See, during this time period, the white man could what? He could divorce the white woman, kick her out, do anything to her. She had no rights in this land, the U.S. of A. So when they began to organize and come together and speak, they spoke with one voice for themselves. And that's what we had to be clear about. So the black woman has to understand what's her legacy. Who is she tied to? What is her responsibilities that extend from then up until now? What should you be doing? Those of you who went to college, those of you who did not go to college, those of you who are mothers, those of you who are healthcare providers, what should you be doing? What have history outlined for you to do? What's your models? And that's what you're going to find out tonight. Who are your models? So you can begin to model yourself and stop walking around trying to be someone else. That's the problem. We need to be black women. Well, you need to be black woman. Yeah, not me. I got to stay where I am. But anyway, let's move. So the first one we're going to talk about is Maria Stewart. Look at the date of birth, 1803. We're in 2014. See how long ago that was? So you had a black woman on the scene named Maria Stewart. Now this black woman wasn't just any old black woman. She stood for some things. She was a lecturer. a writer, political activist. Remember, Ani talks about that, about the black woman being political activist. What does this mean? Because oftentimes we hear the term political activist and we think a person is talking about politics, electoral politics all the time. We hear the word because we lack the understanding of what is meant by being political. She was in tune with her times, and she was in tune with the politics that affected her life and her people. She had an informed opinion as to what should be tolerated and what should not be tolerated. What must I do? What must I not do? Who I must align with and who I must not align with. What I must say and when I must say it. And what I must stand for. That's what it means. You are a defender. You are a protector. You are on the front line getting business done. And most importantly, she was a teacher. And I don't mean a teacher just by virtue of being a woman. I mean she was a teacher in the sense that was a vocation. It was a trade. It was a calling. She made it her business to teach other African people, primarily African women. She was the first woman to speak publicly before a mixed audience of both men and women, black and white. The first wasn't a white woman, it was a black woman that spoke out first. Because during this time period, in 1803, that white woman was still catching hell by that white man. So it was a black woman that had the gall to stand up and speak out and speak truth to power. This is what she said. She's talking to you. Oh, you daughters of Africa, awake, awake, arise. No longer sleep nor slumber, but distinguish yourselves and show forth to the world that ye are endowed with noble and exalted faculties. In 1803, when she was born, so she probably gave that speech around probably like, let's say 1825, something like that for the most part. But speaking to you, because we walk around in 2014 with our heads hung down, disliking ourselves, staring in the mirror for hours on hours, talking about what we don't like about ourselves as women. No, you got to know who you are. I know who you are, know what you come from, and know what you must be doing. Frances Harper, born 1825. Another powerful woman. Stood up, spoke out, didn't take any mess, used her inherent talents to push the race forward. Her freedom was purchased by her aunt. She was a slave. Her freedom was purchased for her by her aunt. Abolitionist, poet, lecturer, teacher. Any similarities so far? All right. Now, abolitionist. During the time period when she was on the scene, she was against the system of slavery. See, in all our times, as long as oppression exists, oppression is perpetuated by systems. See, oppression isn't just something that's out here. It's systems in place operated by people designed to keep other people down. So those systems has to be challenged by challenging the people. And sometimes you have to get violent and destroy the people so you can destroy the system so other people can be free. See, oppression is just something you just lay down on your night on your knees and put your hands together and pray to whatever God you believe in. And ask your God to remove this thing because this thing is mandated and executed by people, flesh and blood. So it's going to take some flesh and blood individuals to go up against flesh and blood to get this thing right. And that's what these women done. That's what they did. She challenged it directly during the times of the Civil War. She aided people, brothers and sisters. She aided the men, the wounded. She worked with the Underground Railroad and things of that nature. We have to be out here. She was the vice president of the National Association of Colored Women. As a woman, you got a role, you got responsibilities, you have obligations, cultural. You white women speak of rights. I speak of wrongs. We are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity. And society cannot trample on the weakest and feeblest of its members without receiving in its own soul. You tried that in the case of the Negro. What she was saying, what I was saying earlier, a group of white women running around talking about the rights and so on and so forth, overlooking black women. So like she said, y'all talking rights. I'm talking about wrongs. Wrongs that I have endured and my people are enduring. But she spoke truth to power in the midst of white women. Fanny Jackson Coppin, 1835. Born a slave, born enslaved. Educator, lecturer, missionary, principal of the Institute for Colored Youth. Now, as an educator, I'm going to tell you what's unique about her. Very unique about her. You see her last name? So largely you can put that together, you know where it comes from, right? So you know about Coppin State University. It ties into her. But what made it unique about her, they don't use this terminology in history when they write about her. But I'm going to give it to you. See, she taught pedagogy. See, her thing was, as an educator, she taught people, but she realized that the people that was teaching the people didn't know how to teach. She began to teach teachers how to teach. So even her curriculum and her teaching methods have been borrowed all the way down to this day. See, Coppin State University was built on the principles that what she stood for. That's what this was about. We have to understand the power that you come from. As a missionary, she went to Africa to teach women how to go out and teach. Not laying around talking about, well, I don't want to read no books, the stuff we say all the time. It's boring, or I don't want to talk to her. The foolishness that we do in 2014, I don't like her. She thinks she cute. She thinks she all this and that. And the lady ain't saying nothing. The lady just dressed nice. The issue is yours. It's your problem. You want to project out. We don't got time for that foolishness in 2014 and beyond. Get your act together. Be as these women. Yes, ma'am. Well, I would say the only difference is, for the most part, is because a true teacher is going to educate. Now, I'll say as far as the educator is that her teaching methodology gets on a larger scale, whereas the teacher probably just be in the classroom, so she became the principal of something. So she became responsible not only for the children, but for the teachers and the faculty as well. But the key is this. See where she was born at? You see her state of condition she was born in? When all of you were so-called born free. And a whole host of others that were supposedly born free, and we never accomplished this type of stuff. Yes. I don't know. They probably do. I'm quite sure they have to somewhere on some level. Yeah. I'm quite sure they do. That would be foolish not to. But the point is, if she was born in this state of being enslaved and came out of that, because during the time of enslavement, we were deprived the right to learn to read and write. However, you have someone who was born in those conditions, but through perseverance and resiliency, evolved, developed herself, pushed herself, and became great. So why do we don't Well, what's our excuse? What's your excuse, black woman? You don't have one. You don't have one. You can't even bring forth one. Because your history teaches otherwise. Your history shows you that you can succeed, excel, and arrive. All you got to do is believe and do. It was in me to get an education and to teach my people. This idea was deep in my soul. I feel sometimes like a person to whom in childhood was entrusted some sacred flame. This is desire to see my race lifted out of the mere of ignorance, weakness, and degradation. No longer to sit in obscure corners and devour the scraps of knowledge which his superiors flung at him. I want to see him crowned with strength and dignity, adorned with the enduring grace of intellectual attainment. Listen to the thinking, listen to the articulation of a black woman, the mindset of a black woman. We can do better, black women. We can do better. Dr. Anna Julia Cooper, born 1858. Powerful lady. Powerful. Scholar. Educator. Political activist. She founded the Colored Women's League of Washington in 1892, which was an organization. So far, do you see the link with all the women we just talked about? Yeah. You see a link? Is it a divine cord that's running through all of them? And what is that? Education. So why we got a host of women walking around nowadays who don't have a clue as to what's going on with themselves? The difference is that each and every one of them, they took it upon themselves to get it. To go get it. Matter of fact, let me share something briefly, if I can find it. Fanny Jackson Coppin. She said this right here. She said, I am always sorry to hear that such and such a person is going to school to be educated. She said, I'm always sorry. This is a great mistake. If the person is to get the benefit of what we call education, he must educate himself under the direction of the teacher. In the 1800s, a black woman. We just said what? Go back. We say she was a principal, right? She was a principal. But yet she's telling you, she said, I'm sorry when I heard that you go to school to get educated. Because that's the mistake. Not saying you shouldn't go in there, but the mistake is to believe that that institution is going to do that for you. Your education has to be yours. You have to do it under the direction of a skilled and competent teacher or instructor. Is that clear? Yes. Go back. Dr. Anna Julia Cooper. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Miss Cooper lived to be about 105. If I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but you can do the research and come back and let me know if I was correct. Okay. But I know she lived for a very, very long time. And she wasn't playing no games, and she was doing this work the entire time. The entire time. Teaching, organizing, being on the front line, speaking out against injustices, trying to organize votes and stuff like that to get the vote. She was in the midst of this thing. She was working it. She didn't stand down, spoke out, and educated. Women. See, in history, you very rarely will find it say Dr. Anna Julia Cooper. I added the doctor. I put that there because she was the fourth black woman in the United States to receive a doctorate. She was the fourth to go get it. And I believe she got it like in her 60s or close to it, but she was up in age when she got it. So you have to keep all that in mind. Like nothing, she wasn't just laying around, just laying on her back. She was constantly moving, constantly digging, constantly evolving. She was constantly pushing herself. And this is how we have to be as a people and primarily as black women, as African women. Nothing's supposed to stop you because your history teaches you otherwise. See, Malcolm said what? He told us what? He said history is best qualified to reward all research. Marcus Garvey told us read history incessantly. Two of the great black minds that came out the manhood, teaching and telling us and instructing us to go look at your history. Now I'm telling you today that nothing should stop you, nothing should curtail you, nothing should deviate or distract you because your history teaches you otherwise. See, your history, when you link it to the black women in your history, they're going to show you that you got to push forward. You can't fall to the wayside. You can't say, well, oh, man, I got all these children, what I'm going to do? You got to keep going. You just got to do. That's what your history teaches you. Your history doesn't lie. It's not made up. You can go to 1,000 libraries and pull their names and you can find the same conclusions. This is not fictional. This is real. This is yours. You need to have it so you can give it to your babies, especially if you got a little girl. Because if you don't give her this at the earliest of ages, society gives her something else. And it destroys the best of her. It kills the best in our girls. Why do you think our young girls desire men nowadays? 30 years ago, it wasn't like that. It was turn off. A man look at a little girl, she turn off. But today, they bat their eyes. Something is missing. And we around here shaking our butts and laughing, watching all these stupid shows on TV, trying to go to Atlantic City and gamble, or run the mills and gamble, and the babies are dying. You got to get your history. If nothing else, get your history. Get your culture. That's what's going to save you, and it's going to save your family. It's going to save your people. Nothing else is going to do it. Nothing else is going to do it. Because we done tried everything else since we've been here. You name it, we have tried it. The one thing we haven't done systematically is push our culture. That's the one thing we haven't done systematically is push this African culture and push it and push it and push it. Now it's time for that. We've tried every single religion under the sun. Everyone you can think of, we've tried it since we've been here. And with each passing year, our communities crumble more and more. So I'm telling you, I stand before you today and honor these black women, that the only thing left for us to push is the African history and culture authentically. Not the stuff that's been imported into Africa, not that crap. I'm talking about that authentic, uncut African history and culture. The traditions, the ritual, the spirituality, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's necessary. 105? The Bible said I was correct. She lived to be 105 years old, and she was in the midst getting this work done, not playing games. She opened the first YWCA chapter for black women, and that's because in Washington, D.C. during the time, they refused to let black women inside their facilities. So she said, you know what? We ain't going to lay around and cry. Oh, they won't let us in. We're going to open something up and do our own thing. That's what time it is. Keep laying around and talking about these people doing us. What are we going to do for ourselves? Every time you're on Facebook, what they doing to us, I'll do it to you too, because you ain't doing nothing back. It's the bully mentality. You go to school, he smack you in the back of the head, you don't do nothing. You come the next day, he pop you again and laugh. You come the third day, he pop you again and laugh. The fourth day, he pop you, turn around and pick him up and dump on his neck. The fifth day, he gonna speak to you. That's what's gonna happen the fifth day. How you doing today, Jonathan? With that lump up on his head. But I'm telling you, we gotta get down and get real. Stop playing these games. I speak for the colored woman of the South because it is there that the millions of blacks in this country have watered the soil with blood and tears. And it is there, too, that the colored woman of America has made her characteristic history, and there her destiny is evolving. Powerful black women. This is what you come from, black woman. You got to embrace these women. This is your ideal of womanhood. Go get it. It's there. It's in your history. Turn Oprah off. Oprah made $1 million, $1 billion, appealing to white people. That's it. You know, she made $1 billion appealing to white people and entertaining black people. Black women entertained by Oprah, and Oprah's primary audience, her topics was geared towards white women. It's made $1 billion off of that, and now she's laying back because she had never spent it before she died, and she's most definitely not doing anything, so she cannot be your idea of womanhood. I don't care about her having $1 billion. It means nothing to me. It means nothing. I got more respect for Dr. Anna Julia Cooper, who stood on the front line and tried to move us in the face of opposition, when she could have went out and made millions of dollars with her education. She chose to stand in solidarity with her people and said, let's go get it and do it together. That's what's needed. Now, everyone probably knows this lady right here, Ida B. Wells, also born enslaved. Powerful. Teacher. See the similarities? Journalist, activist, crusader, lecturer. So the question has to become, why were all these black women, teachers, lecturers, what was up with that? What was popping in the era time that just produced all of this? You know, what'd you say, sister? That's what they was doing. That's exactly what they was doing. It wasn't where as though you send an email out and say, sister, you want to give an in-house lecture? I don't know. I don't know. These women was like, yes, let me get on the front line and speak this truth. We were like, no, I don't know. We can't do that. We got history here. We got to go forth and do it. But you know what gave them the confidence to do that? Convictions and knowledge. Conviction and knowledge. When you got knowledge, it naturally builds confidence. So the reason why we're not always inclined, some of us got the shyness, I understand. I'm just joking. I understand some of us do have shyness for the most part. But a lot of us don't necessarily be shy. A lot of us just be insecure. We feel like we're not going to do a good job for the most of us. And what I'm saying is that we can get around that if we prepare ourselves with the knowledge. Do the work, do the homework, give yourself the knowledge which is going to build your confidence, and then you can go speak to your people. Because we should never be afraid to speak to our people. They need us. We all have something to say. And we need to say it because each and every one of us have a unique story. And it's somebody who can relate to your story. And they need to hear your triumphs, how you embrace your story and how you prevail. So we got to get that together. So that's why I like to point out the fact that they was all teachers, educators, activists. They was lecturers. You know, what was she was anti-lynching.
That's right.
You know, totally against it. Now the funny thing is this right here. Her and Anna Julia Cooper were pretty much running dogs in a sense. What kind of really truly inflamed her, kind of inflamed Anna Julia Cooper. 3 of their friends got lynched. They had these friends, and 3 of them got lynched. And it kind of inflamed both of them to move at that pace they began to move at. So she was really hard flinch on going at the lynching hard. Didn't play any games about it. Yes, sir.
I was taking note that we have journalists in there for her, and she was editor of a paper, like newspapers, the Red Record.
That's
and
right.
They say that she's responsible for the end of lynching in Illinois. And the reason I bring that up is, because whenever we think about, how great the task is, and that we have a small part in this, and we'll do our part, and then somebody else will come along and do their part, but we don't expect that we're going to conclude anything, come to an end of something that's, terrible. And but it is put to her that she ended, lynching in Illinois. So it happened in her lifetime.
Excellent point. That's an excellent point. And that's what she was. She was most definitely a editor. She wrote, she put things together, and she compiled that record. And that record was pretty much showing all these lynchings throughout the USA. It inflamed a lot of people.
Yes, it did.
But it also brought about a lot of awareness.
Yes.
And that's the point I'm trying to get to, is that we have to let our voices be heard. Your voice has to be heard in whatever capacity. If you're a poet, put it out there. Put it out there. If you can sing,
That's right.
if you understand the dynamics of hip-hop, put it out there. But tell our story.
That's right. That's right.
See, tell our story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Empower us with your skills and talents.
Yes.
That's what it's about. She helped organize the National Association of Colored Women. So we know about the NAACP, but this predates it.
Oh, wow.
It predates it. NAACP was, 1909. This right here, if not mistaken, is 1896. 1896. She was a co-founder of the Niagara movement with Du Bois. Did y'all know that? They co-founded that. She was a part of that. And the point I'm trying to draw out is that, see, these great minds of these men and women, they were linked back then. They wasn't in isolation. They were linked. They knew of each other. They wasn't necessarily competing. They were working together.
She was all the way in Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
And Du Bois was all the way up in the Northeast somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without internet and all that,
They was connected. The distance. The thing that connected them back then, it was the conditions and the awareness of the conditions. So what disconnects us is we're unaware of the conditions.
That's right.
That's why. Because even in this audience right here, some of us got $50,000 jobs. Some of us got jobs make $20,000. Some of us probably got jobs make more than that. But that's the illusion. But because we are able to have what we define as being money, we don't view our situation the same. See, back then, they wasn't caught up in that illusion because they knew that we were still being oppressed and attacked because it was real and it was right there. So we don't see that, we don't perceive it, we don't understand it. So it makes it hard for us to connect because connectivity is based on common interests. We don't have common interests when we think we got different classes. We think we're in different classes. We bought into the concept of classism. So we think we're in a different class. The only two classes in the USA is the haves and the have-nots. And the way you know that, I'm going to tell you how you know that. You know that it's only haves and have-nots when you have a police state. Whenever there's a police state in human history, it's a case by which some group have more than the others. The police becomes necessary to ensure that those who don't have won't take from those who do have. So the police exists to protect the property and the resources and the interests of those who got. So anytime you got a situation where you got a strong police state, you got a situation where you got haves and have-nots. All that crap about the middle class, that's a lie and it's an illusion. All that junk about, they might tell you this right here too. This is another one you got to watch out for. They'll show you a picture or they'll show you a picture or a commercial of some poor white person. And then they have a caption that says that oppression don't know color. It's caste. You seen it before? That's another illusion, right? Because I'm going to sacrifice some of my own to keep you in a state of confusion. It's warfare. They understand it. They understand collateral damage and casualties of war. We don't understand it. So they throw that out there, and we start arguing that point like it's real. It's not real. Because the moment that European that don't have, want to have, all he and she got to do is go take a bath and walk into any place and ask for a job. You try and see what happens. That's it. They can walk off the street anytime they choose to. This is what Dr. Claude Anderson teaches. And he's one of the greatest minds in economics in terms of black people. He says that a white person can become a millionaire overnight, in a literal sense. See, all they need is a good idea and move out on it. Because everything else is in place to support it and watch it to fruition. Not for the black person. He also tells us that a white person can become a millionaire and lose it all. And become a millionaire again and lose it all and do it again. He said the black person, you get one shot. You become a millionaire and you lose it and you've lost it. So you got to understand where you at. She understood it. She understood it very well as a black woman. And because she understood it, she was on a crusade to crush it. Not to say I'm going to try to figure out how and carve out a place within it. It has to be crushed. It has to be brought to the ground. So I will use my talents and my skills to aid my people and destroy that which is hurting my people. This is your legacy, black woman. That's your mission. Understand it well so you can carry it out well. Our country, she says this right here, our country's national crime is lynching. It is not the creature of an hour, the sudden outburst of uncontrollable fury, or the unspeakable mentality of an insane mob. It represents the cool, calculating deliberation of intelligent people who openly avow that there is an unwritten law that justifies them putting human beings to death. Powerful words to be speaking in a time period when the war was really raging. But a black woman stood up and said, this ain't something she said behind closed doors. This public. She said it to the mobs. She said it to them. She ain't whisper, put something on her face and muffle her voice. She said how it had to be said. This is your legacy, black woman. This is your history. This is what you have to emulate in the corporate office or in the streets. You have to emulate this. Am I telling you to be overtly bold to speak out? I'm not saying that and get yourself jammed up. But I'm telling you, you don't need to be inside somebody's corporation tolerating sexism because you think you got to pay some bills. You got to have dignity. You got to take that home with you. You know when you got this overly flirtatious boss. You've been around long to know that. You know when this clown is eyeing you the wrong way and he's the boss. You know he make you feel uncomfortable. You know those idiots are talking to you like you're dumb or you're stupid. You know these things. It has to be checked when it's done. Never compromise their dignity. You take that home with you. You don't get it away. That's not our history. That's some learned Negro stuff. Give it back. Maria Church Terrell, born 1863. She says, while most girls run away from home to marry, I ran away to teach. While most girls run away from home to get married, she says she ran away to teach. Educator. Activist. Civil rights leader. Lecturer. First president of the National Association of Colored Women. Now, early on, we talk about Ida B. Wells. Was it Ida B. Wells? Yeah. There was someone else, too. Yeah. They found it, right? Okay. So now we see who was the president of it. So logically, we know that they had to know each other. It was locked in. Same time period. Women working together in harmony, not beefing, not cutting each other down, getting the work done. Who was the vice president?
Maria Stewart.
First African American woman ever appointed to a school board. Powerful because, see, to be appointed of the school board puts her in a powerful position. And by her being a woman who understood who she was as a person, she utilized her talents and her position to push and advocate for us, primarily women. She spoke for the women. We got to understand that this is what we got to be doing. We have to be actively involved. Now, I know one of the similarities that we pointed out was the fact they was educators and things like that. But do we all also see on the opposite side how they was also involved in organizing organizations? This is what women do. This is what the African woman does. This is what it's about. You have to be involved. This is what you come from. And it's blasphemy if you don't perpetuate this. She says, as the brains of colored women expanded, their hearts began to grow. No sooner had the heads of a favorite few been filled with knowledge than their hearts yearned to dispense blessings to the less fortunate of their race. You see the thinking, they're always thinking about their people. You know? Not like we do. I'm going to go off, go to school, get this degree, then move away into the suburbs. I got my knowledge. I'm going to go get my little $75,000 a year job and go buy me a Mercedes-Benz and sit off to the side somewhere. These women were thinking about their sisters and their brothers who needed assistance. They used what they had, what they understood as weapons to empower African people. That's the theme. That's the underlying current. We have to understand that each and every one of us, but tonight primarily the black woman, you have responsibility to aid in this struggle. See, oftentimes we flee or we don't show up always when we think that it's too much being asked of us. That's too much. I didn't come for this. I didn't come for that. But this is what you came for. This is what you have inherited. So you should have, in the ancestral realm, as Dr. Maria McLeod teaches us, see, each and every one of you chose the vessel that you house. You chose to be here. So you chose that female vessel. So having chosen it, this is what you inherit. You chose it. This is how you got here. We choose these vessels in the ancestral realm. That's how we get here, according to the Dr. Maria McLeod. She teaches us this. We just got to understand it. So you have inherited this because you chose to be a black woman. And you chose to come to us in the time period of oppression. So having come during this time, you have obligations, responsibilities. You can't shirk them. You can't run away from that. You have to fulfill it. You have work to do, black woman. Maggie Lena Walker. Ever heard of her? Most of us haven't. A lot of us haven't. But you need to know about this one here. She was the Grand Secretary of the Independent Order of the St. Luke, an African-American fraternal society. She was a teacher, entrepreneur, civic leader, and an organizer. But what makes her special, listen very closely, what makes her special, is that these fraternal orders during this time period, they had unique missions. And one of the missions for this particular one was the uplift of African-American women, the sick, the needy, things like that. And they wanted to uplift them in key areas, social, economic, educational. They wanted to provide those things for them. So these fraternal societies were organizations geared towards pushing groups of people forward by preparing them, by training them, teaching them, and educating them. What makes her special is because she became the Grand Secretary of this thing, which is pretty much the highest ranking position. Now, during the time when she inherited that position, which was in 1899, the order had 57 chapters with 1,080 members. The treasury contained $31.61 in cash, and it also had a $400 debt. That's what she inherited. This is what she inherited. Now, if you do the research on her, at the time of her birth, I believe it's 1934, the early 1930s. The time of her birth, her death. Yeah, at the time of her death, I stand corrected. At the time of her death, which is 1934, for the most part, around that time period, she had moved this fraternal order to $14 million in cash. and 100,000 members. 100,000 members. We talk about black banks. She created the first one by a black woman right here. That's a bank, the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank. And if you do the history and the research on this right here, you can trace it up to current banks. It constantly changes its name, but you got a current bank right now that exists that ties directly to this bank that she started. She also created the St. Luke Herald, which was a newspaper. She said, we need a newspaper so we can carry our mission throughout the land so everybody can know what we are doing and how we are prospering. All other chapters. And she also created the St. Luke Imperium, which was a department store. We know the department store is, right? Now listen, that's why I want us to be cautious and know our history. She created these things with her mission and her vision, brought them into existence. The department store didn't last as long as the others because the white community, they boycotted it because her department store was designed to hire black people. So the whites got together with their resources because what she did strategically, she put all these businesses in the heart of the downtown community where she was at in Virginia at the time, where whites, all their business was at. A bold stance. Some critics say she shouldn't have did it, some say she should have. But it prospered. But when she put that department store there, they band together, boycotted it for the most part, and it had to go out of business because of that. But the point is this. We have to see what they do when they're moving against us. But we got to learn how to do the same thing. We got to learn how to stay together and stand together. But here is a black woman, a black entrepreneur. We're talking about in the late 1800s, early 1900s. She predates all the other women you talk about. Create the bank. In order to do this bank, what she did, matter of fact, that's what she did right here. She had a meeting. And she said, let us put our monies together. Let us use our monies. Let us put our money out at usury among ourselves and reap the benefit ourselves. Let us have a bank that will take the nickels and turn them into dollars. Yes, ma'am.
So, like, at some point in what you were saying, you said we chose to be black women.
Yes.
How do you choose to be black women?
Good question, because on each and every one of us chose to be who we are. We talk about from the ancestral spirit level. I know we probably understand the birthing process, but even the birthing process is a spiritual process. So from the African point of view, I'm not talking about from the United States of America or any traditional educational institution points of view. What I'm telling you is coming from the traditional African cultural point of view. From an African culture point of view, all human beings, African people, we are our ancestors' return, and we choose to come back as we come back. That's most of what I'm saying. Is that kind of clear? Because I know I can't get into it right now, but at the end of this presentation, I can try to explain it to you a little bit more. But you have to be open to really get it, because it's unlike anything you probably ever heard in an educational institution. So the only way you're going to get it is you got to say, I'm open to hear something new. It's not going to coincide with any religion you probably spoke to. It's not going to coincide with any science book, anything like that, or any philosophy class you probably had. It's not going to go with any of that. It's totally different, and it's strictly coming from African history and African culture. Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that sense, what you're saying is very simple to her. That's what's making it difficult right now, because it's not coinciding with what she has understood. So, but it's simple. You put it simply, and she can take it simply. But if she don't want to, then it's a difficult thing.
Good point. Yeah, so that's what it's about. We got to organize our money. And you see she used the key word in here. She said usury. She said put out our money at usury among ourselves. And the only thing that she's talking about is what happened with the banks. It's the same thing. Because you go to a bank and say, give me a loan. They give you $500. What they don't give you, they just say, okay, we're going to put it in your account. They just hit some numbers, and some numbers pop up in your account. They don't put no dollars in your hand. They put some numbers in your account, and they tell you, well, listen, give us this back and give us this amount of entries. That's usually for the most part. But we go for it because that's how things are set up. So you go draw on that, and you use it for what you need to use it for. But in return, you got to give that back to that bank, and you have to give them back that interest. So she's saying, why can't we do that amongst ourselves? We already doing with you white folks anyway. So why can't we take the money that we got, put it amongst ourselves, and let it turn over and work for us? That's what she did, and out of that came a bank created by a black woman. Your legacy, your inheritance. So you know what you got to do. Start building. Annie T. Malone. Ever heard of her? I'm going to tell you why you need to know about her. Because once we start talking about her a little bit, somebody else going to pop up in your minds. But you know about her, and you need to know about this one too. So she also was an entrepreneur, a unique one. She was a philanthropist, educator, and she was an inventor. Now the key is, what did she invent? She invented hair care products. That's what she invented, hair care products. And her hair care products was designed to protect the hair and the scalp, because black women were already burning their scalps and their hair trying to get straight hair prior to her or Madam C.J. Walker. It was already doing it. So what she did, by her understanding chemistry, she came up with products that were designed to protect the hair and save the scalp. That's what she came up with. She created this school called Provo College. Provo College. You can look it up. And what it was, I guess, is those today they call them a cosmetology schools. That's what they call them today. But they never tell you that the concept comes from her. Because she created this college and she taught this science. She taught this science and this skill. It was the first educational institution in the United States dedicated to the study and teaching of black cosmetology. Right? So she had a slew of women, a lot of women that came through it. A lot of women. And even some men came through it that was familiar with the teachers and things like that. One of her students, she also, as a philanthropist, look at this right here. During the 1920s, Malone's philanthropy included financing the education of 2 full-time students in every historically black college and university in the country. Now, what one of these rich fools doing it today? And it was simple. Every single historically black college in the 20s, she made sure 2 black students can go through it.
That's at least 200 students.
Say it again.
That's at least 200 students, because there's over 100 HBCUs.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Come on now. We know you know what you're supposed to be doing. So why can't we say, you know what? I'm gonna go in and sponsor a child and put this child in UIP. They got a youth organization. I'm gonna sponsor this child. What it cost? Only costs $35 a week. That's nothing. I'm gonna sponsor this child. This child going and get an African Center education. Or I'm gonna see what mother need the Watoto Development Center, who might can't afford the tuition. Find out what that tuition is and see how can I help to put this child in Watoto Development Center. Right. We ain't thinking right.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
We ain't thinking right. The thinking is off. But we got $150 boots that come up to our knees. We got skin-tight dresses that show everything that cost $175. But we can't help finance the education of a child. We're not thinking right. Because we don't know our history. We don't know the models. Look at this cool lady. That's jazzy. That's jazzy. See the cap, the glasses, and the coat? You know, who would ever know she was going to be on type of time like that right there, giving that money up to push us forward? Can you imagine the people she probably hung around with? The circle she went in, they didn't have a clue that she had a mission. That's how we have to be. Primarily black women, that's how you have to be. UIP should be filled to the capacity. Go out here and find a child, ages 7 to 13. Sponsor. Find a parent that needs the Watoto Development Center who can't afford their tuition. Help out. If 3 of you got to get together to make that happen, then do that. They're going to get the proper education so we can get free, man. We got to get our babies right. If our babies don't get right, we ain't going nowhere. Trust me. If we don't get these babies right, they don't get the proper education, we're not going anywhere. We're going to die in oppression. Hard, cold, and broke. Let's get our babies right. This is a picture of the provost. This was a graduation. So you see the one guy back here, right, getting it in, but you see all these women You know? You see the brother, you see the black face? He got the darkest face, right? The brother said, I'm here, I'm on the scene. I'm getting mine in too. It's a skill. You know, we can't have somebody tell us that only women need to know how to do hair. It's a skill regardless. The brother got it. Made some use of that. And that's her right here. Right in the midst. She's right there with them. This was in Atlanta. This real stuff, right? I'm not making this stuff up. It's not fiction. It's real. You can go find this stuff.
She got a town named after her, too. St. Louis, I think.
I believe so. You're correct, yeah. We got to go get this. This is the truth. This is your history. This is black womanhood. That's what it's about. So we know this one right here, right? Mary McLeod Bethune, born 1875. We know about her. The powerhouse. She also was educated. Businesswoman. This is not, see, this right here is not talked about a lot. Civil rights activist. Political leader. National Council of Negro Women. She was the president. National Association of Colored Women's Club. She was the president. National Association of Teachers in Colored Schools. She was the president. And check this one out. Who knew she was hanging out with my man Carter G? She was the director of the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Carter G. Wilson and them. It was getting down. Them trying to show the link. They ran in the same circles. Common interests. Black people being oppressed, we need to get together. Today, man, we can't make it happen for nothing under the sun. Yes, sir?
I mean, I would say today that they run in the same circles. You know what I mean?
Yes, I did. Good point.
Why are you hollering?
Clarify.
You know, the circles they ran in then, they were about being progressive and making something happen. You know, the circles they run in now kind of fit with what he had to say about Oprah Winfrey, in that, you know, they do what the white folks, you know, are pleased with and entertain us. But they know each other.
Yes, sister.
When you were talking about Annie T. Malone, you were about to say something before you went to the point about her finances.
C.J. Walker.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, yeah. She was the teacher. Yes. Good point. Try to get back here a little bit, if I can. She was the teacher, Madam C.J. Walker. And she was the first millionaire, first black woman millionaire. So we say Madam C.J. Walker, but it was her. See, she's not less known because people gravitate towards Madam C.J. Walker. A lot of us don't go as far back in our studies. But it was her. They said during the 1920s, she filed income tax of over $40,000 in the 1920s. That was one of her income tax returns. You know, but she ran into a lot of troubles and stuff like that. So the reason why she's not as known as Madam C. Walker, because even though she started her business before Madam C. Walker, and she started the schools and she taught Madam C. Walker, in her life, she ran into financial problems because people started, like, for one, I think it was this guy she was married to. You know, they had a long, drawn-out divorce, and he was trying to get some of the business and stuff like that. So a lot of her businesses, you know, it didn't end as fluent as it started. So people don't know of her as they know of Madam C. Walker, but she is the teacher of Madam C.J. Walker. It wouldn't be a Madam C. Walker if you didn't have this lady right here.
And especially the door-to-door sales style that Madam C.J. Walker made popular. She got that from Annie Malone.
Yep, they want door-to-door. Something that her, this stuff right here, Provo stuff. So that's what it was. Back at this is one right here. What makes her so powerful is that you see all the organizations she was involved in, but the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute, that's what she started. That's what she founded. She founded that. And it's this school right here, which was for girls, that later merged with the other school that a guy was doing that was for boys. Because she wanted to evolve her school to a higher level. In order for it to go to a higher level, it had to be a co-ed school during these time periods. So she merged with the guy, and that's what became the guy Cookman. So it became Bethune and Cookman College. And so when that came about, she became the president of that particular institution. And she pretty much, spearheaded that institution into greatness for the most part. But I want us to see that the black woman in history was a builder, was an organizer. I want us to see those things because this is what you have to take. And this is what you got to measure yourself against. So your black womanhood has to be measured against black womanhood. You can't look at TV and do that. You can't look on the corner and do it. So you got to look to your history and look at the womanhood in work, in action, and you got to measure yourself against that so you can figure out what you should be doing. That's why you're having this presentation tonight, so you can know. No more excuses. Next week, there can't be an excuse. I don't know what black womanhood is. You've seen it tonight. I don't want to hear that no more. Call, text you, I need to talk to my Bible. But I ain't having an example of a black. That's a lie, sister. When you had the presentation, you had an example then. See, what I'm doing, I'm just doing the preliminary work for you. Then you got to build on this. So this is just introduction. It's your responsibility, it's your task to take each and every one of these women and pull something from them and patch them to yourself. Build that black woman. And build it in conjunction with other black women. Build it together. That's what this is about. This is what she had to say. The drums of Africa still beat in my heart. They will not let me rest while there is a single Negro boy or girl without a chance to prove his worth. This is what you have to be. This is what you are. This is your task. This is your obligation. This is your mission. You are the black woman. You don't have to figure that out. You are the black woman. You are the first. Everything that is came through you. People have contrived situations to make you forget that. People have put things in front of you to distract you from knowing who you are. People have lied to you systematically so you don't know who you are. Tonight, I'm helping you find who you are so you can know who you are, so you can be who you are. That's what this is about. We have to move forward and we have to win. It's not an option for us. And the only way that's going to come about is for the women, my brother, my sisters, my mothers, the grandparents, the aunts. It's for you to know that you are a black woman, an African woman. It's necessary.
Oh, I know her. I know her.
Well, tell me about her.
DC.
Tell me about her. DC?
Yes,
Yeah.
she had education.
That's
Definitely
good.
know that.
Man, you can probably logically make a logical deduction about that, right? She was an educator. She was an educator.
She was educated. Okay.
She was a civic leader, women's rights activist, National Training School for Women and Girls. That's what she created. Another institution. Tell you why she created this. It was an institution she wanted to teach in because she's a teacher. She was denied a teaching position. She was denied it. She said, okay, bump that. I'm going to build an institution I can teach in. She didn't lay down and say, you know what, they discriminated against me. It's theirs. I never understood that. It's theirs. If I go to your restaurant and you don't want me in, cool, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to be like, get the news down here. Y'all ain't let me inside his restaurant. That is foolish to me. It's his. If I want a restaurant, I should go buy my own or build my own. Or go link up with some folk that have it. I can't complain because you don't want me in yours. It's foolishness. It's a slavery type of mentality. To always beg to be inside somebody else's stuff. Cut that out, black people. It's not us. We didn't come from that. They deny her the right to teach. She built the institution she could teach in. That's your legacy. That's what you have to go do. The Women's Convention. Now, this right here, because she was a part of the National Baptist Convention, because she was a Baptist. She was part of the National Baptist Convention. She was a Baptist. And what happened, she gave a speech, a powerful speech. And the speech was pertaining to women being more involved. And as a result of their speech, they allowed her to create this right here. So she created this. This was like a subsidiary piece to the National Baptist Convention. So she created the Women's Convention, and it was geared towards the development of the women, moving women forward, get women involved in all the politics of the organizational affairs, moving women to leadership positions. This is what she created. This is your legacy. We can't always stand back. In our organizations nowadays, we mumble amongst each other saying, well, the women don't got them to say, well, I think he's so. Stop all that saying you think somebody's chauvinist. Put a case together and come and put down, what can you do? Put a case together. Don't be mumbling in corners. Put a case together like she did. Say, listen, we need to talk and present it. This was popping. This is what I can do, and I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to let you do it. Come to me and tell me you want to run study class. You got it. I'm not going to argue against you. Say, no, go run that boy. You know? So I can stay home and sleep and keep all my headaches from being headaches. I would love for you to come up there and do the job. The National Association for Colored Women. She was instrumental in founding this. Now, we also talked about who else was a part of founding this. Remember back? Who? Say the name? Yeah. Who else was involved?
Mary McLeod Bethune.
Who else? Who's another one?
Francis Harper.
Who?
Francis Harper.
Who else?
All right, Church Terrell.
Okay. I'm just testing you. Just testing you. Just testing you. It's a lot. You writing? That's what's up. You got it. I was denied a teaching job because of the color of my skin. The pain of that disappointment inspired me to eventually establish a school that would give all sorts of girls a fair chance. So they didn't lay down and wallow like we do. It inspired her. And it should always do that for you. Every blow should inspire you. Every move, every advance against you should inspire you. Your resolve should kick in. Every time someone advances on you, your resolve should naturally kick in. You don't lay down. You don't get no fetus position. You don't call your girlfriend on the phone and say, you know what, they didn't give me the job because I was black and that white girl ain't good as me. I'm going to hang up on you. Because that stuff that's coming through that phone might take something from me. I got to hang up on you. You talking like that. You need to call me and say, you know what, listen. I went for this managerial position, and they didn't give it to me because of this white girl. But, you know, when I was walking out of the office, I had this bright idea, and this is what I want to do. I'm going to be like, right on, sister, let's go. Don't call me and be whining about why you ain't get it, and you crying my ear, want to drink, go out and get some drinks. No, man. Oh. Sister said, the pain of that disappointment inspired me. She didn't wallow. She was inspired. Do we understand that? Read that statement, someone. A sister, read that real loud.
I was denied a teaching job.
Read that.
The pain of that disappointment inspired me to eventually establish a school that would give all sorts of girls a fair chance.
This is what her school had. She also built the school in the tradition of Booker T. Washington. It was vocational. See, she believed that they should have academics and vocation. So she wasn't like how they try to make the argument between Du Bois and Booker T. She believed that we should be academically inclined, and we should also have vocational skills. We should just be all around the board well-grounded. It makes a lot of sense. So they learned a lot of things, character development, sewing, you name it. They was getting these skills at this particular school. Yes, sir.
I want to point something out that even though she was denied an opportunity because of the color of her skin, she still created a school that was still aid and assist all sorts of girls. Mm-hmm. So I know we, in that statement right there, no matter what we go through, still we have to hold on to our humanity. We still have to understand that we are not the beasts that oppress us. And we can't be fooled by that kind of behavior and turn to something like a beast. So in that statement right there, she still built a school that would aid and assist all sorts of girls.
Good observation. Yes, brother.
Another thing that's to dovetail off of the Bible, she took that denial and she didn't want to say I'm a leave who I am and change myself to be them. I'm not going to change my behavior or my mindset. Instead, I'm going to still be proud of who I am and build something versus what we see today a lot of times say, well, you know, since they denied me, it's something inside me I must change to conform to them. But no, she stayed who she was and bent and broke the backs of the things that oppressed her.
Good point. Issa.
And we should also know that as long as we allow other people to teach our children, we deny ourselves opportunity.
That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying? If we allow people to do other things for us, we deny ourselves the opportunity right there.
Good point. Historical mindset of black womanhood. This is very important. The historical mindset of black womanhood is very basic and it's very simple. Self-help, self-reliance, and self-preservation. Understand, self in the African context is collective. Self in the African context is collective. So essentially what this is saying is they thought in terms of the collective helping the collective. The collective being reliant upon the collective. The collective preserving the collective. That's it. They didn't step outside of that. They used that mindset, and that's what drove everything they did. And this is your mindset. This is what you must develop if you don't already have it, because this is your history. This is the historical mindset of black womanhood. And if you are a black woman evolving in womanhood, this has to be your mindset. Self-help, self-reliant, self-preservation. I will ask you this question as long as you know me. You got to be able to spit that back out to me. What is the historical mindset of black womanhood? And I want you to spit it back to me. In this order. Not, oh, am I thinking self-preservation, self-reliant? No, this order right here. Help, reliant, preservation. What is the historical mindset of black womanhood?
Self-help, self-reliance, self-preservation.
Okay, next week I'm asking that question again. Historical attributes of black womanhood. Intelligent. These are the attributes. Progressive. Assertive. Decent. Not half naked. Decent. Not half naked. Respectful. Courageous. Purposeful. That's the one we have to get and drill in our head. Your existence must serve a purpose worthy of being acknowledged. Selfless, principled, dignified, confident, loyal, and race conscious. And race conscious. The reason why, I'm going to tell you why. Because, see, the terminology, African-centered, Afrocentricity, Pan-Africanism, it didn't exist during the time period when these women were born. See, it didn't exist. But they understood something about it based on their behavior. They were race conscious. This is what you got to have. So you don't got to be able to break down all this Pan-African ideology. You don't know it, cool. But you got to have an undenying love for your people and move off of that, wherever they are in the world. If somebody died in Africa, it should punch you like this right here. Every time something happens to somebody look like you should be moved by it. That's race conscious. And everything you do should be designed to push your people forward. That's race conscious. If you write a book, you're writing for the future generations. If you give a lecture, you're giving a lecture for the future generations. If you build a business, it's not for you. You're going to live off of it while you're here, but you're building for other generations. That's race conscious. Race conscious. You are keen and open to anything that's trying to attack your people, whether it's direct, indirect, psychological, social, economic, political. You see it, you pick up on it, and you go directly on an offense, defensive. Regardless who it is, whether it's the president or it's the bum in the alley. Neither have the right to attack us. And when you pick up on it, you got to get in the offensive, defensive. And you got to assess the situation. And you got to figure out, is this the battle I got to get into right now? How am I going to deal with this situation? But you got to be in battle mode, because that's black womanhood. Yes.
I appreciate that, the word decent appears after assertive. Because people like that assertiveness, but when it comes down to how to be assertive, it's like you're talking about whether this is a battle I will get into right now or what. And people will be assertive and foolish. People will be assertive and unreasonable. All of that, you assert unreasonableness, but if it comes, you got to consider that you ought to be decent too. And you got to find some kind of way to reconcile that assertiveness with some kind of order that's called for.
Yes, that's a good point. And that's why decent is up there, because oftentimes when we're on this quest for this knowledge, we tend not to focus holistically, and we leave things out. So we have a lot of information, but a lot of other stuff about us will be raggedy. But you have all this knowledge. No, these sisters wasn't raggedy. These sisters didn't walk around looking any kind of way or saying anything out their mouth. You read the statements. These sisters was on point. They knew who they was. They presented themselves well, and how they presented themselves, it demanded respect. They didn't walk with their head down saying, they don't respect me. They didn't do that stupid stuff we do today. Because they knew who they were. And it's your responsibility to find out who you are. And the only way you can do that is through your history and your culture. You can't go in a house and turn on some On Demand or all that old dumb stuff and watch them shows. So Olivia Pope and all that dumb stuff you watching about some black lady with some white president and all this old freakish homosexual stuff. No, man. No, that stuff destroying us. And we can't be afraid to talk about that stuff. But that's the end of this presentation. But I appreciate you. Y'all did a good job, and hopefully this presentation aided you in some shape, form, or fashion. You know the assignment. It's the same assignment from last week.
Huh? Yeah. One request. Can the assignment this time, can the brothers carry this out? We can hear from y'all this time?
Oh, man.
Wait. Pause. Did I miss the one brother that read the paper?
I wasn't even here. We're not talking about that. The attack on the black man.
No, it's not attack. Did the sisters hold y'all down?
Yes, you did.
Oh, your turn.
Y'all did good.
Economic and social philosophy is black nationalism.
You can't be living in these days and times and can't see it. The community's been taken captive, we gotta free it. Practical applications for healthy socialization. Urban philosophy, stronger than democracy. Conceptual reasoning repels all hypocrisy. BLM, we cease the mediocrity. Got our own economy, in control of our children and our commerce. Now which one you wanna check first? African Communal Empowerment Fund, Urban Youth Initiative with the daughters and sons, African Marketplace with a collective as one. From Ma'at to Yehudi, it's all redemption. No dissent shine in the ranks of our movement. Keep each other in check and strive for improvement. Culturally careless, minds are shrinking. African awareness, critical thinking provides a chance, whether novice or advanced, to relive what was lost and start to strengthen our stance in this situation. Stressful participation is needed, so we'll never be defeated. PLM, strengthen our stance so the village will advance and strive to our oppressor is deleted. PLM, mold the minds that soon to be enshrined with ancestral divine that is needed. PLM.
We be the epitome of where study meets practice. As a wannabe revolutionary, I lack this. The accumulation of information with no clearly defined purpose hurts us, diverts us from the true goal, to become whole. Again, PLM, the Pan-Afrikan Liberation Movement, a 7th millennium blueprint for improvement, taking the best of our ancestors' endeavors to topple the oppressor. From the dynasty of Tutmosis to the reign of the Xhosa, from the Seminoles to the Shakors, study ensures we plot a proper course of destination. No African is an individual, but we've grown leery of congregations. But at the root of our ills is improper socialization. Too much lust, not enough trust. Too much I, not enough us. Get on the bus of accountability and allow it to change and contort you. Welcome to your revolutionary support group, Hotep. My name is Heru, and I am a black nationalist. The response, Hotep Heru, and put up the black fist.
My My political, economic, and social philosophy is black nationalism.
Moving forward at the speed of life. Everybody ain't gonna make it, so we know the strife. Codes of conduct weaved in the construct to sustain a liberated zone we can call home. Can't condone ignorance, jealousy, hatred, or the overall mentality given by the matrix. A village with a lifestyle built for ascension. Scientific Pan-Afrikanism is the intention. Raise the seeds, be guided by the elders. For a history fragmented, we must become the welders. Put back the picture from an indigenous view and instill it in the next generation that's coming through. Sustainability, economic agility, worldwide facilities, healthy communal chemistry. Picture that, we all loving to be black, nappy-headed and natural, living in the factual, learning only the actual that's hidden in our DNA. Whether overseas or just chilling around the way, a global thinking, uniting of the mind, recreating our design to be free in these times. PLM.
The 8-point political platform to promote African unity, to establish economic empowerment, to establish African-centered educational institutions, to establish holistic healthcare, preventative care institutions, to combat white supremacy, to combat injustice, to fight for self-determination, to fight for nationhood.
My political, economic and social philosophy is black nationalism.